Tonight, we are learning more about a boat wreck off the coast of Massachusetts that killed a recent University of Vermont graduate. The family of 22-year-old Jada Sammit, who graduated from UVM last year, confirmed she was one of 7 people on board a fishing vessel that went missing Friday, and debris from the boat was later found in the middle of the ocean. ABC 22's Matt Holderman joins us now live in the studio. Matt also has reaction from the UVM campus community. This is a tough story, Matt.
It is a tough one, Lauren. Family members of Jada Sammit and people at UVM who knew her all describe her as a brave, caring young woman whose passion in life was protecting the environment. She had just started working at sea last summer, and her family says it was a dream job of sorts, but ultimately one that was cut far too short.
With fishing, we know, comes a lot of heartache.
A tragedy at sea unfolding just days ago, claiming the life of 2025 UVM graduate Jada Sammit. The 22-year-old came to Vermont 5 years ago looking to expand her knowledge of the environment, taking courses at the Rubenstein School of Environment and Natural Resources. Upon graduating, Sammit started working as a fisheries observer, hopping aboard commercial fishing vessels, gathering data to share with sustainable fisheries. But this past Friday, Sammit was one of the 7 aboard the Lily Jean when it set sail off the coast of Gloucester, Massachusetts. And according to the U.S. Coast Guard, something went wrong about 25 miles out.
We received, as the captain mentioned, a radio distress beacon from the ship indicating that there was an issue. We understand that they might have had a casualty to their fishing gear, which required them to come in to fix it before they could go back out.
The Coast Guard took a helicopter and boats out to sea, covering hundreds of miles, eventually finding a debris field that included a life raft and a body floating in the water. Officials have not yet said whose body it was, but the other 6 still missing are now also presumed dead, and searches have been called off.
In Gloucester, fishing is more than a way of life. It truly is the fabric of this community, and there are a lot of us that go to work every day pretty assured that we're going to come home at night to our families. But in a fishing family, there's no telling what's going to happen.
Not long after, Sammit's family shared a statement, writing in part, quote, "We are devastated by her loss and the pure tragedy of the unthinkable, unimaginable events that took her from us far too early." UVM professor Jed Murdoch shared thoughts too, saying he had Sammit in his wildlife behavior course and worked closely with her on a wildlife monitoring project. He says, quote, "She was a gem, a thoughtful and caring person that had a genuine interest in using science to tackle pressing environmental issues. Jada had an eagerness to be an agent of good for people and environment and was passionate and committed to making the world a better place." And officials with the Coast Guard Northeast District say they have launched a formal investigation now on the sinking of the Lily Jean and those 7 sailors. They will be joined in the investigation by the National Transportation Safety Board. In the wake of this tragedy, I should also mention a nonprofit called Fishing Partnership Support Services is collecting donations for all of the victims' families, and we will have a link to it later tonight on mychamplainvalley.com. Reporting live in the studio, Matt Holderman, ABC 22 News.